But now we join ITN, followed by Calendar, for today's major news stories.
East Germany starts tearing down parts of the Berlin Wall. Most East Germans head home after an away day in the West. Another East Bloc communist hardliner goes, this time Zhivkov in Bulgaria. And the ambulance men drop part of their claim to get talks going. Good evening. The East Germans have tonight started to tear down parts of the Berlin Wall to create 18 new border crossings. Moscow welcomed the news but warned that the borders between the two Germanys will remain. And in another dramatic development in the communist bloc, Eastern Europe's longest-serving leader, Bulgaria's Todor Zhivkov, has stepped down. The tens of thousands of East Germans who crossed the wall overnight are now heading home after a day out, shopping, sightseeing, and generally enjoying the delights of life in the West.
In East Berlin, the Brandenburg Gate, the landmark dividing East from West, was the target for East Berliners. Not since the closing days of World War II, not since the East German riots of 1953, have crowds gone wild like this. Young East Germans dashed the last 100 meters to the wall and were hauled into the West by West Germans who'd climbed on top. One man even rode a bicycle. Until now, they would have been shot for attempting this.
They're shouting here, the wall is dead, the wall is dead. Not for the 30 years that it stood have so many people crossed so quickly. And the question is, how much longer will it stand?
Border guards stood on the sidelines as young Berliners poured over the wall.
I climbed over the wall and come and walk through the Brandenburg Gate.
I climbed over the wall and I just enjoyed the feeling to go here in this Brandenburger Tor.
I jumped over the wall.
You jumped over the wall?
Yeah. It's a great feeling.
I'm happy. I have been dreaming of this for years, and I don't know what to say. I'm happy.
This is something, and I don't have even the English words to explain how I feel.
No one has stood in this street for nearly 30 years. The Brandenburg Gate was cut off by the wall's construction. Beneath its arches last night, the old flag of Berlin and a mood of euphoria. And at the road crossing points, it was the same story. Curious to glimpse the other side, if only for an hour. In cars, on bicycles, and on foot they crossed. In both directions. All night, the police just stood and watched.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. This is the Invalidenstrasse crossing point. People are still pouring out of West Berlin behind me and pouring in from East Berlin into the West. The police have simply given up trying to check them.
And at 11 this morning, nothing had changed. Cars jammed the crossing point all day. Frustrated policemen gave up trying to check for the new exit visas as more and more East Germans seized the right to travel. And tonight, the East German Interior Minister went on TV to announce new crossing points would be opened in the Berlin Wall. At Potsdamer Platz, near the site of Hitler's bunker, this was where the first section of the wall went up in 1961. And at the Glienicke Bridge, scene of Cold War spy swaps, where Soviet dissident Anatoly Sharansky was freed. Tonight, East German TV showed its citizens how to cross, gambling that most will come back.